Okay, now let's take a look at actually styling what's going on here, and we'll go back to VS Code and we're going to go to our activity list item. Now at the moment we've got a list of grouped items, but instead of using items here, we're going to give each activity their own segment, and we're going to display it quite differently to what we're doing right now. So what I'm going to do, we can't reuse hardly any of what's going on inside here, so I'm just going to remove all of the code there and effectively start again. And what we're going to use here is segments from Semantic UI. And we're going to start off with a segment group. Each activity is going to be made up of several different segments. And inside the segment group, we'll create a segment. And then inside here, we're going to create an item group. And inside our item group, we're going to add an item. And all of this is really just for styling purposes. Inside the item, we're going to use an item image and make this self-closing, and we're going to give it a size equal to tiny. And we're going to give it a circular styling, and we're going to say the source is going to be equal to, and we're going to say / assets and user.png. And this is going to represent the user that is hosting this particular activity. And make sure we've got the images here as well. Inside our public folder, inside our assets folder, we should already have this user.png placeholder image that we're going to use for the time being until we have the ability to actually upload user photos. And then what we'll do underneath the item image is we'll say item.content, and inside here we'll say item.header, and close this off, and we'll specify activity.title. And this is going to form a link, so what we'll do is we'll specify as equals link that we get from React Router DOM, so I think it's this one. Let's just double check that we got the right thing brought in there. And sure, that's the one we want. And we'll specify to equals, and then we'll say in curly brackets, we'll say backtick / activities $, and then the activity.id. And let's just bring this down and bring this down as well and reformat. Underneath the item header, we're going to add an item.description, and we're going to say hosted by, and this will be the name of the user hosting it, but we don't have that information available, so we're just going to hard code something in here and just say hosted by Bob until we're ready to replace it later on. So below this particular segment, we're going to create another segment, and inside here we'll just add a span, and we're going to have a couple of icons here. So we'll add the icon and make it self-closing, and we'll give it a name equal to clock. And to the right of the icon, we're just going to specify the activity.date. And below this icon, we'll just add another one, and we'll give it a name equal to marker. And this is going to represent the activity.venue. And below this particular segment, we're going to add another segment, and we'll make it a secondary segment to shade it a slightly different color. And this is where the attendees are going to go. So we're just going to say attendees go here, because once again, we're not ready to add what we're actually going to be adding in there. And then finally, we'll add another segment, and we'll add a span, and we'll just say activity.description. And below this, we'll add a button and make it self-closing. And we'll make it as equal to a link, and we'll say to equals, and then we're going to say backticks / activities $, and then the activity.id, and we'll give it a color equal to teal, and we'll make it floated equal to the right, and we'll give it a content and just say view. And of course, this will be the button that takes them to the activity. So let's go take a look and see how these are looking. We can see the segments are in there, but we've still got a segment that's wrapped around this. So we also need to go back and adjust our activity list here as well. And we don't need these to be inside their own segment nor an item group either. So we can remove the segment and item group here. So let's remove that code, reformat things slightly, and let's take a look and see how this looks. And we're almost there. We've still got our button that's sort of hanging off the edge of this particular segment, but that's just because we need to add the clearing flag to the segment that contains the button, because we've got a float inside here. And in order to make this work, we need to add the clearing flag, which clears any previous floats, which messes up the styling there. And if we go back, take a look, then we can see that everything is laid out as we want it inside here. And the grouped activities are still grouped underneath a single date there. Excellent. What we'll take a look at next is take a look at the activity detail page, which definitely needs some work. And we'll have a look at how we deal with that next.